Welcome to Let Your Light Shine, the podcast where we illuminate the path to your best self. I'm your host, Jonathan John Louis Hardrick, and I'm so excited to have you join us on this journey of empowerment and self-discovery. Today, and in each episode, we'll dive deep into the themes inspired by the book, Let Your Light Shine, Unleashing Your Inner Glow through Essential Self-Care Practices for Empowered Women. This podcast is for anyone seeking to cultivate their inner glow, embrace their power, and truly let their light shine. In our conversations, we'll explore different topics that resonate with women and girls from all walks of life. We'll discuss the SHINE method, practical and transformative self-care practices like sleep, proper hydration, tuning into our intuition, and nourishing our bodies while remaining fully engaged. But that's not all. We'll also delve into cultivating joy through hobbies, practicing grace, forgiveness, and engaging in activities that make our souls light up. Each episode features incredible women who share their stories, wisdoms, and insights. They're entrepreneurs, creatives, professionals, mothers, daughters, all shining examples of how embracing these practices can lead to a fulfilled and empowered life. So whether you're looking to ignite a new spark in your life or fan the flames of an existing one, Let Your Light Shine is here to guide and inspire you. Remember, for more resources and information, you can always visit lightshinebook.com. Let's get started and explore together how we can all let our light shine brighter. Join me, Jocelyn Jean-Louis Hardrick, in this empowering journey. Here's to letting our lights shine together. And now, let's dive in to today's episode. Hi, it's Jocelyn Hardrick. I'm back with another great episode of Let Your Light Shine podcast. Today, we're going to hear from Erica Herndon, and she's going to let us know how she lets her light shine. Erica is a realtor and podcast host of the Zen Single Mom podcast. Her passion in life is helping others. So as a realtor with the largest real estate company in Georgia, she helps people make their dreams come true. And she does that by helping them purchase or sell a home. To her, a house isn't just four walls, but a place where you and your family will make memories for years to come. And she can help both buyers and sellers with all of their real estate needs, from picking a home to finance it. You can rely on her to walk you through the process step by step. She is also the host of the Zen Single Mom podcast. And with that podcast, she shares her transformative mindfulness journey, navigating life's challenges as a single mom. Erica's wealth of experience illuminates the path to mindfulness. Empowering and uplifting fellow single moms, she invites listeners to discover the benefits of mindfulness and prioritizing self-care, while also embarking on a journey of self-discovery. Erica is also my sister-in-law. She is the widow of my late brother, and that is how we're connected. But we've stayed connected after his passing as we heal together, go through the grieving process together, and actually got to know each other more, especially through her son, AJ, who we love dearly, and her other children and her family. So welcome, Erica.
Thank you, Jocelyn, for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
It's a pleasure having you. I had the honor of being on your podcast as a guest, and we're going to link that show in the show notes and also to her podcast. Make sure you take a listen. We were talking about navigating grief, right? How to do that as a family. One of my books, I Miss You, Daddy, was written and dedicated to my brother's two young children, my niece and nephew. And we just had this great conversation. So now get to have another great conversation about self care. And so tell us more about how you got into the real estate business.
Yes, I have about 15 years of sales and customer service experience. I managed the day-to-day operation, like several locations, and I was putting all this time and energy into my corporate career, and I was making them tons of money. And during this time, me and my husband were also looking for a house, and I fell in love with whole process of purchasing a home and looking for houses, and I realized how much I love it and that I have the skill set from all my years of experience that I can transfer into creating my own business, and I can be able to help other people, help them make their dreams a reality of home ownership. And so, yeah, so that's what led me into real estate.
Yeah. So well, it's interesting how, especially as women, we have all these talents and we're using it to get other people rich and other people build their businesses. And then we have these aha moments like, wait a minute, I can do this. And then I can benefit for me and my family. So, what are the aspects of the home buying process that really appeal to you?
I love looking at the different properties. I love that. I love meeting with the clients and finding out what's important to them and what they're looking for, and finding that perfect property and seeing the look on their face when they walk in it. And their face lights up and I'm like, "Yeah, this is it." It's just so satisfying to help them find the house the exact house that they're looking for. Sometimes it can take a while. We may have to go through a few properties before we find that one, but seeing the look on their faces and watching them walk through the house smiling and talking about what they're gonna do with this space and that space, and those are, like, key indicators to me that this is the one. And so I just absolutely love that part of it.
Yeah, it's a creative process because sometimes we think creative or creation means we have to be starting from scratch. Well, I remember going into the home and my brother settled into, and then you had these interesting floors and then layouts and pictures. And then after he passed away, you like redid everything and you showed me the pictures. And I'm like, wow, you did that all by yourself. And you're like, oh, yeah, no big deal. I'm like, oh, yeah, I can't even cut a straight line into a piece of wood. Like, where did that come from? Is it just something that's rising inside of you now or something from when you were a kid?
So I've always been pretty creative, but one thing that I've noticed about myself is that when I'm experiencing challenging moments, like him passing away was really challenging for me. It was during the pandemic, and I'm just sitting in this house, everything's shut down. I'm just looking at the four walls. He's not here. We can't really go anywhere. And I'm like, okay, you know what? I have to I wanna redo this house. I wanna make it feel different, and so I used the grief that I was feeling and all the emotions, the stress, and I channeled it into the creative process with redecorating the house. Like, I created this wall. I remember I went to YouTube. I love YouTube. You can find anything on there. And so I created this accent wall, and it took me step by step of cutting the wood, measuring the wood, cutting the wood, and painting it. And I remember painting the wall, and I'm, like, crying as I'm painting. I'm, like, up at 3 o'clock in the morning. The kids are asleep, but I'm painting this wall, and it just gave me an outlet, and it actually showed me just how creative I am and how capable I am. I think that's one of the things I really pulled from it was just how capable I am of, "I can handle this. I can do this. I can create beauty even in the moments that don't feel beautiful." And so from there, I just fell in love with interior design too. And so I'm actually starting an interior design business. It's called it's not it's called Creative Collective Interior Design. And so it's me and two of my other business partners. And so we are in the process of getting that up and running. And so I'm excited about that endeavor as well.
Oh, nice. Yeah. And then a couple of things you said. There's a saying, beauty for ashes, and that's describes what you're saying. The other one is sometimes things come and experiences come and we think it's going to break us, but we're really breaking open. and allowing ourselves to grow out of the box that we've been in for a while. It can be a really tough situation that gets us there. But if we embrace it and lean into it, things like this can happen. You're birthing a whole new company now, and the work was beautiful. So maybe we'll find a way to link a post to the pictures of what you did with that wall. And then now, of course, so you have the real estate business, you have the interior design business, and then the podcast, which we see your beautiful background, the Zen Single Mom podcast. Tell us more about that.
Yeah, so I started the Zen Single Mom podcast after my experience, of course, with my husband passing away. And now I became a single mother, and making that transition into single motherhood was really challenging for me because I was so used to having my husband there to help with the day-to-day activities, the children, and helping to manage the household and the financial aspect of it. And so here I am, he's gone. And I was like, oh my God, it just felt so overwhelming because I was also grieving during that process. During the pandemic, my kids were grieving as well. And I went to the tools that I knew because I knew that I needed to show up as my best self for them, even though I just wanted to stay in bed and just cry and just feel and whatever I was feeling, like, it was a lot, but I was like, "Okay, you know what? The kids need me. I have to get up. What can I do to make sure that I'm taking care of myself, that I'm filling my cup so that I can show up better for them?" And so I went to the tools I know, like I mentioned before, which is, meditation, affirmation. I would do nature walks. I started incorporating more journaling, so to help better process my feelings and emotions. And I started to create routines for myself to make sure that I was filling my cup. And I started to see how it was transforming me and how I started to feel better and I started to feel more capable in this role or phase in my life as a single mother. And so I wanted to share this experience with other single mothers. I have a few single mother friends and I've talked to other single mothers, and we all have similar experiences, and it can be pretty overwhelming when we are trying to make sure that we're giving our children everything that they need. We're managing our careers, and we need to make sure that we're making ourselves a priority. And sometimes we end up being last on our list. And so this podcast promote filling our cups and making sure that we're caring for ourselves so we're better able to show up better so that we care for everyone around us and also make our dreams become a reality.
That's a really important message. I'm not a single mom, but I was raised by a single mom. So a lot of people have that experience. And our moms did the best that they could with what they had, but they definitely needed more self-care. And we have more resources now than they did. So it's really important that we keep telling this message. So in the book, Let Your Light Shine, I have a section called Single Moms We See You. Because I know sometimes when you're a single mom doing all the things, you read something, someone take care of yourself, and it's just frustrating because you're like, how? What's supposed to do that? Right? Because you have three kids. One of them is still very young in elementary, another one in middle school, another one who's in college. So there's still so much to do. It's like, when am I supposed to find the time? But like you said, if you don't, your cup will be empty. And then now, instead of hugging your kids at night, you're frustrated with them, or you're yelling, or you're doing this. And then it can get tough. Take a deep breath. Single moms, we see you. We see you. We love you. We appreciate you. Those of you whose kids have grown up and you were a single mom, we understand you did the best that you could with what you got. Now let's help the next generation do a little better and a little better every time. So thanks for that podcast. And we talked about one of the important things we talked about is people become single moms in different ways. Some are single moms by choice. I have a family member who chose that, and she's very open about it. Some are because of death, like you became widows, and some were because the dads just aren't there. They're not participating, which was my story. So, what's your message to all the different kinds of single moms, and how do you help them out?
The message is really all about self care because it is important. No matter how you got to be a single mother, filling our own cup is so crucial. to how we show up in our day-to-day life, which is why I think it's phenomenal that you created this book because all women need it, not just single mothers, but all of us need this message of self-care and making sure that we're making it a priority because in this society as women, we're conditioned to put everyone else's needs above our own. I've done this. I did this as a married woman. Everything was about my family and I prioritized that. And even then I experienced burnout, even when my husband was here, because I was prioritizing everyone's needs. And so regardless of what phase in life that you're in, whether it's you're married, single mother, not a mother, just a woman in general, self-care is so important. And I even
Yeah.
think men too, we all should make sure that we're taking care of ourselves and filling our cups and not overextending ourselves. But I definitely know that this message is important for women just because of how we're conditioned by society.
Yeah, I agree. And so I have my best friend, she has a young daughter and son, and I always send my books to her family first. Say, hey, give me feedback. Her daughter is great. Kids will give you feedback. They're not afraid of saying, nope, change that. That doesn't make sense. Her daughter's, oh, this is cool. She gave me some great tips. And then her son's like, why is it just for girls? I said, sweetie pie, I've written lots of books for boys. This one's for the ladies. Because we have very specific messages that we're addressing. And so this is a love letter to the ladies. It's a letter to myself. Like every book I've written has always been to myself first, and I just share it with the world. But I like what you said. I asked you that specifically because sometimes people think, but you don't know my story and mine did be that. And it's regardless of how you got there, you're there now. Take care of yourself, fill your cup so you can fill the cup of your children. And hopefully maybe the dad will come around and there'll be forgiveness and grace and all this stuff. And if not, your cup is still full. Thank you for that message. As we come to the close of another enlightening episode of Let Your Light Shine, I want to thank you sincerely for joining us today. It's been a true joy and privilege to share this space with you and our inspiring guest. Before we part ways, I'd like to leave you with a small nugget of wisdom to carry with you. Remember, the light you hold within is a beacon of hope, strength, and beauty. It's uniquely yours, and when you let it shine, you not only illuminate your own path, but also light the path of others. If you've been inspired by our conversation today, I would encourage you to explore more at lightshinebook.com, where you can find additional resources and support on your journey to unleashing your inner glow. And if you enjoyed today's episode, please share it with someone who might also benefit from its message. Remember to subscribe to our podcast on your favorite platform so you never miss an episode of Let Your Light Shine. As we say goodbye for now, remember that every day is an opportunity to embrace your power, cultivate joy, and most importantly, let your light shine. Until next time, I'm Jocelyn Jean-Louis Hardrick, wishing you peace, love, and light. Thank you for listening, and keep shining bright.